Hello and welcome to the Franz van Kat interview. I'm Annette Young. The city of Jerusalem is the location of some of the world's most hotly contested real estate. Its mayor, Nir Barkat, has antagonised many by insisting the city will remain united and should not be shared as a capital between Israelis and Palestinians. Nir Barkat joins me in the studio today. Nir Barkat, thank you so much for being with us. First of all, do you really believe there can be peace with the Palestinians without them having Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state?
The question you should ask is, what's the best model for the city of Jerusalem to work? There's only one working model for any city. There's no example of a split city that ever worked. And I think we've demonstrated how today Jerusalem is an open international city where people can practice their faith. The Christians manage the Christian sites, the Muslims manage the Muslim sites, and the Jews the Jewish sites. And today, like never before, since the reunification of Jerusalem 44 years ago, never was Jerusalem so open, so international, so enabling for people to come and practice their faith. There's only one model for a city of Jerusalem.
That's where I would challenge you, because having lived in Jerusalem, I would say it's anything but a united city at the moment. It is a de facto divided city between the Arab part of the city, which is in East Jerusalem, and the Jewish West Jerusalem part.
Well, if you want, there's many parts of the city. There's the ultra-Orthodox sector, there's the Muslim sectors, the Christians and the Jews, the general public. Jerusalem, there's room for everybody. I want to challenge you with one thing. You know, when the people of Israel left Egypt and they came to the land of Israel, the land was divided to tribes. Each tribe has its own territory, except Jerusalem. Jerusalem was never divided to tribes. It was open for all people, all tribes, Jews and non-Jews alike, to work in one united city, which, by the way, works today since it was reunited again. And the fact is that the Arab residents, the Muslims, the Christians, don't want it divided. The vast majority of the Arab residents believe that the united city is the right thing to do.
Let me come back, though, to the question I asked you, which is, do you genuinely believe the Palestinians will accept the idea of Jerusalem not being the future capital of a Palestinian state?
I don't know. It's in my mind, it's a matter of things change in the Arab concept, in the world concept. Stick to the right thing to do. To have a bad deal, or a deal that will never fly, or after a few years we'll renegotiate it, why enter it in the first place? The strategy should be very simple. What's the right thing for the city of Jerusalem? And stick to it. And convince people that even if they think today there's no deal or bad deal, they will learn in the future. I believe we must not distract from the strategy, which is to make Jerusalem work better, open it up, enable more and more people come and visit the city of Jerusalem like it's starting to happen, and stick to that strategy.
However, when you go to East Jerusalem, there's a big difference in the quality of services offered, in terms of the numbers of classrooms, the infrastructure. It's definitely the poorer end of town, isn't it? And when you came to power, you promised that there would be no differentiation between the two sectors.
Indeed, there's neglect. And by the way, you should know that Jerusalem in general is less invested in other cities. There's the gaps between the west part of the city and other parts of Israel. And indeed, since I took office, we've boosted development and planning. We're now in the process of building 350 classrooms for the Arab residents. We have been rezoning different neighborhoods with the residents. And I've pressed the restart button on many, many areas that the gap between the old zoning code, the law, and the reality is big. And I've taken significant initiatives to decrease those gaps, and you can now see different parts of the Arab resident areas that are now being in planning process.
But one of the most contentious things you've done is the fact that you appear to be actively encouraging Jewish settlement construction in Arab neighborhoods of East Jerusalem.
Well, that's not true. Factually, it's not true. As mayor of Jerusalem, and I believe the same with mayor of Paris.
When you say it's not true, I mean the reality...
I'll explain to you. The fact is that Jews and Arabs can live anywhere they want. That's the law. And we have more Arab residents.
But don't you think that's a sort of...
Bear with me. Let me finish my sentence. There are more Arab residents living in Jewish neighborhoods than Jews living in Arab neighborhoods. The only thing that comes to me as mayor of Jerusalem, like the mayor of Paris, okay, is, are you building legal or not? I'm not allowed to ask somebody if he's Jewish or Christian or Muslim when we give them permits. So it's perfectly legit in Jerusalem, in Israel, and everywhere around the world not to ask people's religion before you give them a license. So as mayor of Jerusalem, I will allow Jews and Arabs to live anywhere they want as long as they live legally.
But don't you think it's a hollow claim that Jews and Arabs can live anywhere in the city when the reality is that the vast majority of Arabs are not Israeli citizens and do not therefore have the same rights as Jewish citizens of Israel?
The fact is that there are more Arabs living in Jewish neighborhoods than the other way around. The fact is, it's exactly the opposite of what you're saying. So get the facts right. The facts are that people are allowed to live, rent, do anything they want in any part of the city of Jerusalem. That's the law. And as mayor of Jerusalem, I only have one law. And when residents come with a permit or they come with legal ownership of a house, they get a license, period.
Don't you think it's highly provocative, though, in allowing organisations with a declared intention of buying up houses in Arab neighbourhoods with the express purpose of cleansing them? Don't you think that is highly provocative to allow those organisations to go in there and build as such? I mean, when you talk about groups such as Ataret Kohanim or Elad.
I don't totally disagree with the cleansing part. People could buy, if they buy a house, Arabs buy houses, Jews buy houses. In the free market, the mayor of Jerusalem or the government of Israel will not interfere. We're not allowed to by law. I don't know. And check this out. This is a double standard the world has with respect to Jerusalem. Here in Paris, I dare the mayor to ask somebody's religion before he gives them a license. So they will never do that.
But would you allow, for instance, secular Jewish organisations to buy up properties in ultra-Orthodox neighbourhoods such as Meir
It's not a question of me allowing them or not. The law enables people to buy and sell in the marketplace.
But you can
it's the same law, same kind of law in France, in the United States, and any other law that will never discriminate by people's race.
But you can understand that it's viewed by many as being highly provocative.
Double standard. Because they would never dare say that in their own country. Double standard. That's one law. Israel goes through one law, and people are allowed to buy and sell anywhere they want.
How does it feel to be the mayor of a city that is not recognised by any country in the world as the capital of Israel?
Well, first of all, a lot of people do, de facto, and sometimes they say different things. The reality is that I'm a very proud mayor of the city of Jerusalem. I'm happily developing the city for the benefit of all residents. Our tourism is picking up for the benefit of the world to enjoy. And I'm committed to serve all people under one law and to enable Jerusalem to become more successful than it was in the past.
But don't you think it's problematic when you have these images of protests in places like Sheikh Jarrah, in Silwan, Ras Al Amoud, and so on? And I mean, you as a very successful businessman understand the importance of an image, the image being portrayed abroad. Do you not understand that that's incredibly damaging for a city if you're trying to seek foreign investment?
Well, first of all, it's a democracy. So people have the right to demonstrate, and they get a license to demonstrate. And sometimes if they don't, they have a problem with the police, like in any other country and city. Besides that, I want to share with you that last year, hotel occupancy went up 24% in Jerusalem. We have 3 times more culture this summer than the summer of 2008. So really good things are happening in the city, in spite of the fact that you see pictures of demonstrations throughout the democratic city of Jerusalem. I'm very proud that we are a democracy, that people have the right to say out what they want, to have difference of opinions. Not a lot of places in the Middle East has that kind of...
You talk about a democracy, but I've actually reported on some of those protests in East Jerusalem, and I would argue that the treatment of protesters, be they Israeli, Palestinian or whoever, by, Jerusalem police, has been anything but democratic. In fact, if anything, the local courts has criticised Jerusalem's police behaviour in those protests.
Like any other place in the world, sometimes the police gets criticised, sometimes the different players get criticised. It's a democracy, and if the courts criticize the police here and there, it just proves that it's a real democracy. The police does its job, the municipality does its job, it's a democracy, and we allow demonstrations in Jerusalem, just make them legal. It's not a big deal to get a permit like anywhere else. Yesterday I went next to the Eiffel Tower and I saw demonstrations. That's perfectly fine. We have the same. You have the same.
Nir Barakat, do you have any desire to enter national politics after you finish your term as mayor?
there's no better job than being the mayor of the city of Jerusalem. It's challenging, as you said. You mentioned yourself that we have a few challenges on our plate. I don't have any desire. It's my first term. I want to do minimum 2 to 3 terms. Getting Jerusalem to work better, and we're in the right direction, is a life mission for me.
Can I just ask you, though, if you were indeed to pursue a career on the national political stage, which party would you join?
I'm an independent, and interestingly enough, 30 out of 31 council members are part of my coalition, because I really believe in getting more and more people engaged and involved. And we're now engaging more and more of the Muslim and Christian residents of Jerusalem to better plan their community and their areas. So for me, the more we can get people to be engaged in Jerusalem, and indeed we're doing that, the better. I am center-right in my views. However, I know how to work with ultra-Orthodox, secular, right-wingers, left-wingers. Jerusalem has, the philosophy of Jerusalem is unite more and more people together, and that's what I'm doing.
Nir Barakat, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. That's it for this edition of the Franz van Kat interview. Stay tuned for more news and headlines, which are coming up shortly.